So I went down to the factory, and Rich Long called me into the office and asked if I wanted to do this movie. And, of course, I'm going to say yes. You know, I had no idea, really what the deal was. And so I flew home for a week, flew back to the factory, and then me and Martin drove the GT van and trailer up from Orange County up to Calgary to have it.
Man, that's a bit of a drive.
That was a trek.
Welcome to the Rad Movie Podcast. I'm your host, Tony Donaldson, and a super fan of the movie, probably like you. In this podcast, I will be interviewing the cast of the film, some of the writers, and some notable fans. You can watch this podcast as a video podcast on YouTube or listen to it anywhere you listen to podcasts. Please consider liking and subscribing and share this with your Rad fan friends. Hey, fellow Rad fans. Welcome back to it's a milestone, actually, today. It's the 10th episode of the podcast. Most podcasts do not make it this far. So thank you for sticking with me for this. I have a really good guest today. It is none other than the sheepdog himself, Kevin Hull. He goes into how he got started, what got him into BMX, how he got the nickname Sheepdog, who gave it to him, and his experience on the movie Rad. It's a fun little conversation. I think you're going to like it. And so without any more fanfare, let's talk this sucker. Hey, Kevin, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Tony?
Good, man. Good. Where are you these days?
I am up in Olympia, Washington now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Been up here since 95, so yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Very good. Are you, well, let's go all the way back, way before Rad. How did you get started in BMX?
Growing up in South Austin, back in Texas, just riding around the streets with my friends and stuff. A friend of mine that lived down the end of the block was racing at the time, so kind of went with him a couple times, and then just started. That's how it started. That was back in fall of '78.
Wow! So since the '70s.
Yeah.
Right on. How old were you then?
12. I was 12 when I first started racing.
All right.
Yep. So, yeah,
Very
that's
cool.
how I got started. So.
Well, and you did pretty darn well, I would say.
Yeah, I think I did okay over the years. So.
I mean, it's pretty rare to make it to the pro ranks.
Yeah, definitely. So, just a lot of riding, a lot of, it was fun, Started with the trails and ended up racing, and then, got to travel a lot and, got to turn pro after a while and all that. So, yeah. It was
sponsored by GT.
Yeah, that was a big thing for me. Locally, I was sponsored by a small bike shop-ish team, Texas BMX Accessories. They were backed by GT, so I kind of went through the ranks of a support rider on the team, then a co-factory GT rider, and then basically at the end of '83 is when Nelson Chanity turned pro for '84, and they were looking for an amateur to fill that class for '84 going forward. So I did good at the Grands that year. Went out to LA in December of '83, also after the Grands, to the World Championships, and then we went to the GT factory and met up with Rich and Gary, and they picked me up.
That's fantastic.
Kind of a dream,
Yeah, no kidding.
So yeah.
I mean, to go from just a small town racer to, well, not small town because Austin's not small, but go from a small time racer, I should say,
right,
to working your way up to arguably one of the best teams that ever existed.
Right. Yeah, that was. I'd never imagined it. I was just racing, doing my thing, and just kind of, it just kind of all worked out, which was great, and then. Being on GT for 4 years was just a dream, and, traveling and racing, and yeah, it was awesome. I mean,
and part of your legacy is you're in the Texas BMX Hall of Fame.
Yeah. When they started that, I got in on the first go around. Even though I kind of was more popular, or whatever you want to call it, in the '80s, but I did start in the '70s and stuff. So yeah, I get back there every so. I think I've been to that one and two others inductions. I'd like to get to all of them, but just can't go every year. So
Sure.
it's kind of one of those things. But
Yep.
Yeah, that was an honor, definitely.
So then how did you get involved? Were you approached? Did you approach the people that were producing Rad? Like, how did that work?
No, that was in the fall of '85, racing again. I had come back to LA, Orange County, whatever, from the NBL Grands, and went down. I always hung out at GT and stuff at that time. I hadn't moved out to LA or California at that time, so I was still going back and forth to Texas and stuff. Anytime I flew out to LA for a race, I'd stay for a week or so, hang out at GT, make T-shirts, send parts home, this and that. So I went down to the factory, and Rich Long called me into the office and asked if I wanted to do this movie. And of course, I'm going to say yes. I had no idea really what the deal was. And so I flew home for a week, flew back to the factory, and then me and Martin drove the GT van and trailer up from Orange County up to Calgary to have it.
Man, that's a bit of a drive.
That was a trek. So yeah, and then we were there for about three weeks. Eddie was already there before us, doing kind of the paper route things and all that early part of the movie. And by the time we got there, it was starting to get into the qualifying. They were just about to start the qualifying and the racing and all that stuff. So yeah,
That was all at Bowness Park, right?
Yes, yeah, Bowness Park there in Calgary, and just built just for that, and then torn down. So
such a cool thing. I mean, I wish I could have seen it back then. What sort of shenanigans did you and Martin get into on the way up here?
Up on the way up, nothing. No, I mean,
really?
No. Not, if we did, I can't remember it. There's a lot of things I can't remember from way back when.
Are you going to plead the fifth?
Right, maybe that too. But I mean, hanging out up there during filming, there were times we couldn't film, and we'd just drive around, roam around, ride the bikes around the town. There was times it was snowing, you couldn't really do much, but we had fun, just staying there in the International Hotel and stuff. I've got a couple photo albums of pictures from then, and there was times I was so bored I was building models in the room.
Your photo albums are legendary. I mean, nobody else has a collection of behind-the-scenes photos of that. I mean, I'm sure they had a set stills photographer, but they've never released any of that stuff.
Right. Yeah. Obviously, some of the photos I didn't take because I'm in them, so I'm not sure where I got those and whether there were any of the other riders like Martin or Eddie. I honestly cannot remember. I just knew I had all these pictures, and I think once I got back home, I bought 2 photo albums and just put them in it, and I take them to a lot of the old school shows that I go to and stuff, and I'll bring them down to Dirty Fest coming up this summer, and people love looking at it. They're cool pictures and stuff, and kind of behind the scenes, definitely. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that collect a lot of memorabilia from the movie and that kind of thing, but the photos would be, that's something very unique that you have. Yeah.
So I think I've posted some pictures over the years, but it's been a while. So out of the album, but not a whole bunch of them. So they're cool. So yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, if anybody's ever doing a book on the movie Rad, it would be good to be in touch with you to talk about that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that'd be cool. For sure.
So are you coming down for Dirty Fest this year?
Yeah. I went last year for the first time. Kind of, had heard about it, obviously, and everything. So me and my wife went down last year, and then we're going down again. And one of my sons is going down with his wife.
Very cool.
So it'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be good fun to run into you.
Right. Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah, I loved it last year, and it just keeps growing every year.
Yeah.
So it'll be another good weekend. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Same here. I usually go with John Carr.
Okay. Yeah. I love John.
Yep. Yeah, I lose him the second I get there because he's off, somebody grabs him and
exactly.
Always.
You can't help it. There's so many people that you want to talk to and so many people you miss, So it's great though. Definitely.
It is. It's a good time. I really like the background you've got set up.
Oh, yeah. It's my man cave, some of my rad stuff, and, photo. Yeah, is
that a cover of you?
That's, BMX Action. That's one of mine.
That's awesome.
So I've got a couple on this other wall and stuff. So, yeah, that was, God, I forget what year that was. That was down at Balboa. Down at Balboa with Milwee and Chris Smoller, and we were doing some street riding, jumping off the curbs and stuff. And that was a black and white photo that they colored for BMX.
Wow, who shot it?
Yeah,
was it Spike?
Wendy.
All right.
It's the only time they ever. Years later, I heard it was the only time they ever colored a black and white for a cover shot. Kind of unique.
It very much is. I mean, this is before the age of computers and all that stuff. I do remember Spike used to color some of his photos, but he did it with like markers.
Right.
So this is probably a little bit more work than that.
Probably. Yep. So yeah.
So who gave you the name Sheepdog?
That was from Texas again. There was I've told this story a few times. Across from the high school I eventually went to was a half convenience store, half arcade. So
okay,
we hung out there,
I can imagine.
Missile Command and all that stuff, and just you had snacks, and there was a guy there that worked there, big redneck. We called him Snuffy. Big tall guy, nice guy. And just one day he just said, "You just look like a sheepdog," just because of all the hair I had, so big and blonde and, flowy and whatever. And so, yeah, it just kind of stuck and kind of went with it and, had it on my, leathers and things like that. And so, yeah, still there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, the neighborhood always gives you your nickname.
Right. You can't give yourself one.
So what was your experience being on the movie? Working on the set?
But it was fun. I mean, it was, everything was kind of timed out, and when you had to be where and what days, and so when we got there, the track wasn't finished. The wall, the starting hill was done. I don't even know if they'd finished painting it yet. I think they were still working on it. And so we all looked at it, and I know I looked at it like, oh my God, that's just huge and steep. And a couple of my shots in the my photo album are from the side of the ramp, the starting hill, and it's like,
right.
I heard 74 degrees, and there's somebody standing right next to it too, so you get anyways, it was, that was
The start.
And funny enough, that's the last.
As with all movies, they're never in any sort of order.
For the Hell Track race was the start, because it took us a while. Right, it took us a while to figure out how to go down it, and was the main thing. Nobody.
That's what I've heard.
And I think Beetle is accredited with going down first, and you eventually had to carve in. You didn't want to go straight in and over, and things like that. Miranda even at one point took a tire we had, just from laying around down along the track and stuff. And he figured if it rolled and stuck all the way down the hill, then we were good. But it caught air, and about halfway down, it hit. And so so you couldn't really didn't want to go straight. So anyways, you carved down. After you went down once or a couple times, then it was like, okay, well, now we got it. So, but so we started filming in the first turn, and then worked our way around, reset up the camera the second turn, and coming around and under the bridge and through the anthills where I crash, and all that
so when you're filming it like that, you have to film it probably 3 or 4 times to show laps.
So yeah, and if you really, and I'm sure a lot of people have noticed, if you really watch the movie, either the Hell Track race itself and the qualifying, they're never. I mean,
it would be a monstrous task to keep track of all of that, to have continuity from all the shots.
They pieced it.
So, but it's a movie, so you're not hopefully paying attention to that.
Oh God, No, but I'm sure there's a lot of guys that have watched it enough times that can pick out a lot of stuff, and there's things that I forgot that we did during the filming of it, and Eddie had told me about this years ago, that we had switched number plates at one point while we were filming, and I didn't remember that. So there are a couple shots that I have his number plate, he has mine. And then
there's something for the eagle-eyed fans to watch out for the next time you watch. See if you can notice the difference between the two. Is that in the qualifying race?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's kind of funny. I mean,
that's more than
that's great. Race. I keep wanting to get Scott Clark on here, because in the qualifying rounds, every shot he has his JT mouthguard hanging down. Every shot. It's never snapped. And I haven't paid enough attention during the race to see if he actually snapped it for that.
Oh, he does. Really?
So that's something I want to ask him about.
Funny. Okay. That's a good one. I'll have to look for it next time. Well, I'm going to go.
Yes.
There's Rad 40s Sunday, and this coming Sunday and Tuesday it's playing. Yeah, so I'll go. We got 2 theaters locally here. I'll go to one theater on Sunday and another.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So, I'm actually going with on Sunday. I'm taking Sam Bernard, and we're going to go out and meet Bill out in Glendale, and then Tuesday we're going to do the same thing, but Miranda's going to be there.
Okay.
So that's going to be fun. Yep. Yeah, and unfortunately, I'm probably going to have this podcast produced after the fact. So, but are you thinking about going to the 40th in Calgary?
Yeah. Oh, totally. I would love to, but with Dirty Fest the month before, and then I think in early July, I've got to go. It's probably going to be early first week or so of July. I got to go back and get my daughter and bring her back from Michigan. Her and her tuber MX.
Congratulations!
Moving out here. She went to school there and graduated, and she's a teacher now. So, she wants to come. So so I got to trek them back here. So I don't know if I'll be.
Yeah, see, I only went to the 25th here in Los Angeles.
I went to 25. That was a blast.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I went up to Calgary, and that was a good time. Hal Needham was still around and all that.
So, all right. And what are you doing these days?
So that was cool. Yeah. Still working, and been there 34 years at the same thing, just working on aircraft components and things like that. And just got four grandkids,
That's
3
great.
grown kids. So we have the grandkids off and on the weekends and stuff, and you never know when they're going to be around. Yeah, it's fun to have them around. They're fun to have. So I got a little bit of property, and I've got the Power Wheel Jeeps and stuff for them, and yeah. So that's about it. Not really riding much anymore.
Oh man,
the tracks aren't open. We lost our indoor track that we had for 42 years up here, and last March it closed down, or at the end of the winter season, and so now it's just summer season. So it's got to be tough on the kids that race a lot and go to nationals from Washington. I don't know what they do.
You guys have any paved pump tracks out there?
Because it rains a lot during the winter. It's cold. So there are some, so not near me. I'm not sure even where the closest paved one is, but I know years ago, a few guys here locally were trying to get just a dirt pump track, and that was just too much red tape for the county, or for us to deal with the county, just for jumps. And there is one riding area right by my work I used to ride at that's still rideable and stuff, but I don't even go there. I haven't been there. Right. Every once in a while I'll stop by during lunch or something and just walk it, and so it's there. So, and I still got my 24-inch. I got my GT and stuff, and I got a 20-inch I could build if I wanted one. So it's a newer, like the Mach 1, and then GT sent me a Mach 1 a few years ago, kind of COVID-ish, I guess, and they even sent that was my cruiser, and then they sent me the Speed Series 20-inch, and it's been a year since I've been on a 20-inch, and it was just way too twitchy. I just couldn't handle it. Took it out the track and rode a few laps, and no, I couldn't do that anymore. So I'm good on a 24-inch, and then I've got a 26-inch Gary Turner cruiser that Craig Turner makes and stuff, and then I've even got some of the Gary Turner 24-inch race frames that Craig made.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, the thing about looking at the modern BMX bikes, 20-inch or otherwise, those seats are so low, and I'm too old for that. Like, this just kills my knees.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I don't get it. Not me. Yeah, when I do go out, I'm kind of one of the. There's not many guys out there that have them that high like we used to do it. And
there you go.
So, but whatever's comfortable
All right.
for me.
I'll Kevin, thank you so much for spending the time with me and doing the interview, and I'll definitely see you at Dirty Fest. Hey, thanks for making it all the way to the end of this episode. Please hit that like and subscribe button and check out our other episodes.